Okay, so for our schlong today, we are going to talk about a famous person, actress maybe, that I had never heard of until Daisy found the story. But I was like, who is Olivia Culpo? Am I
She
supposed
was
to know
in
who
a
that is?
she was in a pageant. I can't remember what state she won. She was Miss something.
She's beautiful.
She's gorgeous. Yeah, she's really, really pretty.
Beautiful.
And I think she's an actress now, Mock, I think.
Okay. Well, she is a person of prominence, and she married recently another person of prominence, a football player for the 49ers,
Mhm.
and gorgeous couple, just stupid
They
gorgeous.
really are stunning. Mhm.
I mean, ridiculous. And she chose to get married in a very conservative gown. And this other influencer chick has a huge problem with that for all kinds of reasons that I had to cut a little bit. Like I had to take some of her ranting out because it was like 6 minutes long. And then I also sped it up a little bit just to give it, because it's exhausting listening to her. But you have to hear how ridiculous and catty women can be to other women. Watch.
I've been a bridal creator for 4 years now, and I have never said this before, but I do not like this wedding dress. Olivia Culpo just got married, and this is a great example of how fashion is so much more than just what you see on the surface. When you see fashion, especially wedding dresses discussed on social media, you usually just end up hearing about whether or not the person talking likes the way that it looks, which is extremely subjective. Like this dress, for example, if I were to just look at the dress, I would see a beautiful bride in a beautiful, simple, elegant dress. If we stopped there at just the way the dress looks, we'd really have nothing to say. But it's all the stuff surrounding the dress that leaves kind of a bitter aftertaste. She said two things. First of all, she says, I didn't want to exude sex in any way. The second thing she says is she wanted the dress to be as serious as she takes the covenant of marriage. Now listen, there is nothing wrong with wanting a modest wedding dress or just modest attire in general. But the way that she was talking about this went beyond just wanting something modest for herself and pushing this idea of what she thinks all brides should look like. First and foremost, you can be in your underwear and be taking your marriage vows very seriously. What you wear on your wedding day has almost nothing to do with whether or not you're going to have a long and happy marriage. I also have a big issue with the terminology of not wanting to exude sex with what you're wearing, because in an oxymoronic way, it is both your choice and not your choice to exude any amount of sex no matter what you're wearing. Let me explain because it's kind of confusing. First of all, the choice of exuding sex. I could wear something and on me it looks super modest and on another person it look really risque, because we are all different people and the way we carry ourselves has a lot to do with the amount of like sex and confidence we're exuding. But on the flip side, it has been documented that it does not matter what women wear, they will be sexualized if someone wants to sexualize them. So to treat this as if like this is a sexless design is really odd to me, because both it is your choice if you do not want to exude sex in this gown, but also if people want to sexualize you, it is not your fault if they do that. Her two statements next to each other are a very eloquent way of saying that you are asking for whatever you are dressed as, which is an extremely harmful way of thinking.
Oh my God, she's not saying that.
How much she talks about coverage, especially as someone who in her day-to-day life is not exactly a modest dresser. She even says that her husband thinks she's the most beautiful when she's timeless, covered, and elegant. I just think the usage of the word covered is so icky, because you are not covered in day-to-day life. And also, why is he thinking that you're the most beautiful when you're covered? That's such an odd thing. All celebrity weddings will have a little bit of marketing sprinkled in there. I just think it's really odd that instead of marketing herself, she's like marketing and pushing this conservative agenda. But let's like take the politics and everything aside, because there's other things that she mentioned in the article that kind of induce an eye roll from me. First, she says what sealed the deal for her is that when she went on the internet, there was nothing out there like this dress. Hun, it's a high neck, long sleeve white dress. I think I could walk into any bridal shop and find you like 3 of these. This Leia de Gloria gown is almost like an exact replica. I went on Pinterest for about 5 minutes and found all of these. Any bridal designer worth their salt could have designed this dress in their sleep. The main reason why we don't see a lot more brides in this exact dress is because it usually doesn't make it past the muslin stage in the designer showroom. There is no personality in this dress. Usually wedding dresses will have something of the bride injected into it, whether it's like a little bit of beading, some jewelry, detailing, something. This is just nothing. It's the absence of personality, and really the only thing about the dress that it seems like she really wanted was to be head to toe fully covered. And it isn't like we haven't seen gorgeous modest dresses before, like Paris Hilton, Miranda Kerr, Lily Collins, pretty much any hijabi bride that's ever existed. But for some reason, I have a feeling that this isn't the kind of modest that Olivia Culpo and Christian McCaffrey were talking about. Even the designer, if you wanted timeless, elegant, classic, why wouldn't you work with someone like Chanel, Dior, even like Louis Vuitton? No, you
God,
want Dolce & Gabbana, who is not someone who's known for modesty and also is kind of one of the worst people ever. It's very clear that this was not a wedding. This was a conservative campaign. And it wasn't even well done. Olivia Culpo is a huge influencer. People were waiting for her wedding dress for like so long. And if you really wanted to push a conservative agenda, all you had to do was make it seem appealing. But instead you took this disingenuous pick-me route that honestly felt more like you were thinking about your narrative than you were about your actual marriage. She told Vogue she prefers to go more natural, so she didn't wear mascara or eyebrow gel on her wedding day. Sweetness, you didn't wear it because you have a lash lift, lash extensions, and eyebrow lamination. You would think someone who's saying that they wanted to take their wedding vows really seriously would focus more on the union that they're having rather than trying to push this notion of what they think brides should or should not look like on their wedding day.
Yeah, so
Wow.
So she doesn't have a problem with the dress. She has a problem with the fact that she is basically talking about anything conservative, because the notion of conservatism came into this whole scene. That's what she's
modesty.
right. That's if she wouldn't have said anything, then she would be like praising this dress, right? Because I mean, she mentioned all those other stars that didn't mention anything about modesty, but they actually wore modest things. And she's like, "Oh, those dresses were beautiful," you know. But the fact that she said something, she's like, "Oh my God, the patriarchy." You know what I mean? Which we'll get to in a minute. Like she gets really pissed off about that. And you can tell this chick is not married either. Like she is a single jealous hag.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
That dress was stunning. Like
she looked beautiful.
Absolutely gorgeous. And the bride is gorgeous.
Totally.
And apparently she said in whatever magazine featured her or whatever, she said she wanted specifically during the ceremony to give the ceremony and the covenant she was entering into the seriousness that she believed it deserves.
I think that's fantastic.
What that has to do with what she wears other times is zero. There's literally, because at her reception, girl threw down. Like she wore a whole skanky outfit, which you'll see in just a second, literally right after the ceremony. But she wanted the ceremony to be serious.
Very
what
traditional.
is wrong with that? There's nothing
yeah.
wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it at all. That's her decision. She wanted to do that, and she was very serious about it. And her husband loved it. I think that's fantastic. So good for her.
Yeah. You guys, can we just take a moment to talk about dogs for a second? Oh my gosh. Yes. Ella was so excited to see us when we got back from South Carolina. She was like her old self, you guys. It was such a treat. She wasn't limping or anything. And we are regular users of Ruff Greens. This is the formula put together by the founder, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black. He is focused on the health of every single dog. And this stuff, this green powder that you sprinkle on top of dry kibble, it brings the kibble to life with everything that your dog needs to boost their energy, to give them a shiny coat, to make sure that they've got healthy joints, good breath, all of those things. This is the ticket. And you can try it for free. Your dog's going to love it because they just do. They just love the taste of it. It's like a dressing for their food. And you can try it for free. You can get a Jumpstart trial bag at Ruff Chicks, RUFF Chicks.com. You can also, I want to make sure that I remember to mention their phone number. They have a phone number for old school folks who like to just call up and order. It's 888-90-MY-DOG. 888-90-MY-DOG.
That's awesome.
Or, Ruff Chicks, RUFFchicks.com. Ruff Chicks.com. Her husband actually spoke up on this ridiculous post and said, "What an evil thing to post online. I hope you can find joy and peace in the world the way my beautiful wife does."
What
and
a nice
she pushed
guy.
back and she was like, "So what's evil is pointing out the potential internalized misogyny behind her reasoning, your, in my opinion, patriarchal comment, and the racist, homophobic, fatphobic history of the designers she worked with."
Oh my God. Whatever. Okay. God, this chick is just horrible. It's like she's trying to, and you know what? I bet a lot of this is she's trying to get clicks for herself too.
Well,
from
she's
all
done a
these
good job. Like everybody's talking about this now.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Everybody's talking about it. She's trying to get clicks. She's trying to use all this feminist bull crap to get clicks, and all these like harpy girls, who just want to hate on girls who have any sort of, I guess, modesty or conservatism, like in them. She's like, okay, well, I'll pounce on that. And all those girls are like, oh yeah, we're going to go after her because she did something that had any element of conservatism to it. And we could pounce on it. I mean, seriously, what a hag.
Olivia herself also responded. And she said, where is it? Go. And go. Why is it not going? There
you go.
So she said, "Wow, what an absolutely evil person you are. I hope no one ever tears you apart in this way because it's extremely hurtful. I love this dress and it was everything I ever wanted and more." And so that biatch responded and said, "So we just aren't going to acknowledge how your words come across to other people or the background of the designers you're supporting? Like I said, the dress is beautiful and you look stunning. It's everything surrounding it I didn't agree with."
Oh, for
as
crying
if this
out loud.
is any of her freaking business.
Totally. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And I think
She
a lot,
said, I don't have eyebrow lamination or lash extensions. I'm sorry that infuriates you.
I'm just naturally beautiful, unlike you. Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean, it's stupid. So many of these influencers are, it's like somebody said in our comments, are just truly jealous of her.
Yeah.
It's like, cause
So
she's got this she's got a great husband. She's got somebody who supports her. She's beautiful. And it's like, they hate that. They absolutely hate it.
This is the dress she immediately changed into, like right after. And so some people are like, but see, she's like a real skank and she does like dressing sexy. Okay. But she didn't for the ceremony. She had a very specific aesthetic she was going for during the ceremony. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know why this is a problem. I would not wear that, but whatever.
I wouldn't wear it, but I think she looks beautiful in this too.
It's
I would look ridiculous in that, but I would look absolutely insane in that. But she looks very beautiful in that.
Mm-hmm.
She does.
There was another video response to that response, which I thought encapsulated, I think, our view on this whole issue pretty well. And you'll see that if I can get my mouse to cooperate.
Women are up in arms over this bride's wedding dress. Olivia Culpo, arguably one of the most beautiful women alive, married Christian McCaffrey last week in a custom gown designed by Dolce & Gabbana.
That's so pretty.
And here's one of the most viral responses that sums up the internet's reaction.
I do not like this wedding dress. First of all, she says, I didn't want to exude sex in any way. The second thing she says is she wanted the dress to be as serious as she takes the covenant of marriage. She even says that her husband thinks she's the most beautiful when she's timeless, covered, and elegant. I just think the usage of the word covered is so icky. It's very clear that this was not a wedding. This was a conservative campaign.
I'm sorry, but what's wrong with taking your wedding day and using it to send a message about what you believe marriage and a wedding is all about? To be honest, this reaction just feels like a bunch of women tearing down Olivia because they're jealous of her natural beauty.
Totally.
Let's be real, this girl doesn't need accessories. She doesn't need cleavage or glitter. Her beauty in itself is the accessory. And y'all probably wish you could be that simple. Here's a woman wearing a dress she believes most accurately represents the covenant she's about to enter into with her partner. And this girl's reaction is essentially, I can't believe you're trying to take this away from women. Girls really do think the wedding day is all about them.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, she's so right. She really is right. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with being modest. I think, like, since when is that a bad thing? Since when is that patriarchal? I guess it is to some of these harpies that are, that are like, that's conservative. Okay, well, if that's conservative, then great. I'm glad that I'm a conservative. I'm glad that my girls are conservative, and I'm glad that I've raised them to be that way, because that's the way to be. I think that's fantastic. She looks beautiful. Absolutely.
Gorgeous.
She looked absolutely stunning. And you know what? When I see her in that dress, I see her.
Yeah.
I don't see the dress. I see her. And I see a beautiful girl who's excited to get married and who respects the covenant of marriage. And that's what it's all about, right?